Also play the Hans, but we've seen them do a lot. It's Aura that are going to be the rigid team here. They very much specialize in the 3-3 goats. They're going to run this the entire time. Can it be enough to get them through the tournament?
Well, we're finally going to answer some of those questions. How strong are Order really? Will it be, as they say, an easy win, or is it going to be a little bit more harrowing than that? Will it indeed not be a win at all, and are O2 Blast on the road to redemption against Element Mystic somewhere down the line?
And the matchup I want to highlight here is Kaiser versus Quats. You have one of the most storied, one of the most veteran main tanks in all of Overwatch history, and then Quats, the 16-year-old from Australia, just barely getting himself in there, making his mark now.
Feels like Captain America, like, I'm just a kid from Brooklyn. That's my Captain America impression. But fight breaking out, O2 Blast. Well, that's actually Order on the left side. Yeah, so there you go. Answer that question. Quats is king. Long live him. That's, you know, Kaiser means king. Anyway, counter trade and Unter, but honestly, Order will be very happy with that opening kill here. They just want to keep pressing that advantage, and you see them set up over this point right now.
It's certainly not over because Order still need to be able to clean up a lot of other picks. It's O2 Blast, point control. O2 Blast are still trying to cap this one through.
And Order, I mean, their health has been low for the longest time, but Jordation finally coming up on that Transcendence. But this is with Kaiser re-entering, but not for very long. Goes straight back down. Counter trade still coming through. It is dead set even right now as this grab was committed in from Sign. The follow-up not quite so hot, unfortunately. And that cat didn't quite go through. These two teams still just brawling out.
Now there's no response here. There's no support ultimate. Neither Under has it nor Jordation. They still get the trade onto Krong, which is huge.
Quat's barely getting that shield up in time as well, but Adam's still out of the mech. Krong dead, rather. You'd much rather at least have a baby diva than none at all. Charge in from Quats is a very brave play, and it ultimately pays off. Shatter's big. That could be the one. Indeed, it will be the one. Finally, Australia going to come out the top end of that fight.
Super long fight as well for both sides going into this. Ultimates coming online for both sides. And you have to say, look, O2 Blast for the longest time, despite being at a deficit, and I would say they started this one definitely worse. Kaiser went down so many times in the space of this, in the space of this one engagement. He basically didn't get to play the game, and O2 Blast still remained competitive for the most part. Order still get the first cap.
Signed also coming up on a second grab here. You really see him starting to outpace his counterpart in Proper, and that could be a highly impactful ultimate with Myeonbong just shy of a Transcendence. There it is, quick commit, early kill on Pelican, Kaiser, Proper, the whole lot dead, and Myeonbong sitting there like, guys, I got oh wait.
Timing so important. We saw this in the opening matchup. We saw this when the teams didn't quite have the right response at the right time. You give it another 5%, give it another 10%. Myeonbong does have the Transcendence. He does get the counter in there, but we are starting to see Order kind of get away from this right now. They're peeling themselves off from the side of O2 Blast, getting a decent advantage, 50%, 3 ultimates available. Kaiser finally a Shatter. I want to see Kaiser really be a part of this team again, because so far it's been pretty quiet from him.
After what was a very long opening fight, very close run thing, Order starting to, like you said, push ahead in that macro game. Shatter out
Kaiser
from Quats, just getting ahead of the curve on that one. Kaiser's counter Shatter. They don't really get much out of that, so all ultimates thrown on the table here now. Quats the first casualty. That is absolutely huge here for O2 Blast as they rotate into a grab. Jordation does have the Transcendence, but it's not enough to save Unter, it's not enough to save Sign, and it's not enough to keep hold of the point.
I think this is one of those fights for Order. If they were a little bit more disciplined, they would say, oh, we gotta give this one up. Jordation with the Transcendence already lost 2 members. One of them was actually Quats, and you don't have the kind of damage output potential to get the recount, the counter trades back in, and now they're going to be relying on the retake instead. 86% to a fresh 0 starting out from O2 Blast. Order have a lot to work with in terms of time. They just need to dig into that and find themselves a victory.
This is where we're starting to see Kaiser climb back atop that throne, starting to really outpace Quats. Both use Shatter in the fight previous. Kaiser already has his available.
That's because Quats went down so early. Now let's see if the Graviton Surges can do anything. Kaiser straight in with Shatter.
Yeah, it's a hot one too. That means no grab out from Sign, it means no self-destruct combo from Adam, and it means no Transcendence from Jordation. So O2 Blast, a very clean fight win.
That's the cleanest fight we've had so far. Most of these have been super big brawls between both sides, and finally, O2 Blast just handling this one. Kaiser curves his Earthshatter around the side, finds only 1 member. They take down Sign with the Graviton Surge. No good counterplay from Order after that, and unfortunately, that means they lose the entire fight, don't get a trade, and O2 Blast are definitely in control.
This is where Order do come back in with a bit of an advantage now, just because Quats will have Shatter while Kaiser will not. Also still just, never mind, Yuki. That's a rip. Unfortunately off the edge there, and Sign's grab getting eaten as well. It just goes from bad to worse. Jordation commits the Transcendence, and Order are going to be wishing they hadn't, I think.
I think this is another one of those fights. It's kind of already sort of losing to begin with. Maybe you walk in there, don't use Graviton Surge, get that first pick in there, make it 5v5, maybe find the grab later. It's actually still not even over. O2 Blast can still continue cleaning up. Quats finds something though.
Whoa, that could be a big something. They were trying to punish Kaiser for an overextension. He stayed alive thus far, but they could start getting some kills here. Finding Mandu, that's nice. Kaiser throws out a shatter. Can they get anything out of it though? These members are low. What it does do is buy them time to top off the health bars.
Now look at this Proper now with the grab. It might go over the edge. Members might not be safe here.
They're not going to get back up there. That's two falling to their doom there. Order trying to commit to the last here because it is rounding to that 99%, but going to struggle to find kills. Sign still in it, but not for much longer, I dare say. Trying to do what he can. Holding on for quite a while, but it is O2 Blast cleanly closing out that final engagement here. Last ditch from Quads. That's fancy.
And if this was a boxing match, we've got to talk about stamina here because it felt like it went for quite a few rounds, slugging it out. Both teams landing a lot of decent punches, but towards the end of this, as Order just try to continue this point going forward, it's not going to be enough. And O2 Blast ever since they actually kept the back, they started on 0%, 86-0 as a reminder. They got 100 off that and looked so clean while doing it. When O2 Blast were winning fights, they were winning them very convincingly. When Order were winning fights, it was a straight up brawl.
That being said, it might not be easy win for Order so far, but it's certainly not been easy for O2 Blast either. Order have really been putting them through the ringer. They're going to push them to their absolute limit, and I think O2 Blast going to be looking at that going, we've really got to keep our eyes open in this matchup.
My concern for Order is once O2 Blast take control of the point, they slow down the game, they now dictate the tempo of the game. They're the ones saying, okay, this is how we want to engage, and you're starting to see the discipline of Order, this very young team, kind of just start slipping away, throwing in these ultimates at possibly wrong times, trying to save the game. It's like a sinking ship and everyone's just hanging on to each other. They're all pulling themselves into the water. They themselves have to readdress how they want to approach this mirror composition.
And it is going to be sticking on the mirror for the time being. So last opening skirmish went the way of Order. Let's see if O2 Blast can change that tune. Yeah. Both Reinhardts got stunned early though, and that's O2 Blast getting a big push in. Gonna find all the kills that they need there. Quats being the first one and the rest just kind of fall down after that. You've heard this before, you've read that book.
Proper now just cleaning everybody up. That was about 4 kills specifically just for him. Kaiser landing his own fire strike as well. And the Order opening damage, not good enough. O2 Blast opening damage, fantastic. You see how low Yuki was. Quatsen received a lot of that aggro, but got bumped up into the sky, very quickly cleaned up. With that main tank gone, O2 Blast just walk forward and melt people.
And this is exactly what O2 Blast want to do. They want to rotate through these ultimates. Don't even need them
Speaking
just
of
yet.
melt people.
Yeah, this first one's just going to be a straight out frag. Didn't quite have the ultimates yet, but now they certainly do, and they can set up a very comfy spawn camp here.
Absolutely disgusting from Proper. Puts them all in the microwave and puts it on high as well. O2 Blast right now, it's 23% and counting, and these fights have been going so quick and so one-sided. Order need to get some kills here. They need to be able to push O2 Blast back. If you can get some members down, O2 Blast can't make this chokehold happen.
It's a very simple game now for O2 Blast. Rotate through both your grab and your Earth Shatter. Ideally, keep one up at all times and don't let Order get past this doorway.
6 ultimates for O2 Blast, so you don't really see them losing this. Where did they come in?
This is with ultimates not even committed yet. Jordation threw that one out. Already some casualties in. Self-destruct won't find any, but the members of O2 Blast having no trouble keeping a lid on Order right now.
And Proper is going absolutely nuts. Look how many kills this guy is getting. Super high energy, super fast ult charge, and O2 Blast, they have 6 ults to start with, still got 2 available. Order only have 1 ahead. Until probably gets sound barrier soon, but we're 60% and counting up. Order have basically not even really gotten kills yet.
I said O2 Blast want to keep at least 1 up between Grab and Earth Shatter, but with how quickly Kaiser and Proper charge those ultimates, you can commit both.
All right, well, so Order and Sign finally able to make it out the door. This is very important. They don't have to fight to the choke anymore. We're back on top of the point, looking for the grab.
They do connect that one in. Transcendence is there. Self-destruct laid up by Adam, trying to find something. Good catch on Pelican. Shatter does come out as well from Quats. Not the hottest, but they've got the one kill.
Kaiser!
Nice catch on Kaiser. Not quite finishing it out, though. Sound barrier from Mandu just in the nick of time as Adam gets DMAC'd on the other side. Yuki down as well.
Oh,
huge
that's a big
shatter
boy.
around the side from Kaiser. Absolutely demolishes the side of Order. And this will be a 100-0 shutout for O2 Blast. Easy win to whom, I ask?
And Kaiser looks over to the side of Order. He looks at Quats and he says, if you come for the king, you best not miss. And unfortunately, Order, there's a lot of miss over there, especially on control center. It was mostly miss. You look at Kaiser run around the side, sees it with his golden eye, and this is the eye of the Kaiser that we all know so familiar, and Order are going to feel that one going into the next match.
That was like just the most intense string of puns and references, I want to say. That was
not even the end.
There's more where that came from.
Book.
The book of puns. But yes, that is one on the board now for O2 Blast. I dare say not unexpected, but this is, I would also say, a refreshed and reinvigorated looking O2 Blast. That aggressive 3-3 has so far been more than a match for Order.
And I think you look at this, you look at the first round of Gardens for O2 Blast as a bit of a tester to say, okay, how does the temperature feel for this pool right now? Do we want to step in here, dip your toes in first, get a real temp check of it? And it was, a little bit warm. You're thinking from Order, that is an 86% lead. And unfortunately, that lead wasn't quite enough. It's first map done and dust. Can Order bring it back for map number 2? Find out right after this break. All right, map number 2, Kings Row. Here we go, back in action, not just for me, but also for these teams as we head into our next map. And looking at the Order side of things, what I wanted to say before we went to break is the fact that when we look at Lijiang Tower overall, again, round 1, bit of a tester, temp check going to round number 2, it's status quo. It's another day at work for O2 Blast, looking super dominant.
And like I said, it's up to Order to actually pace up here a little bit. I mean, look, O2 Blast are also known for, I would argue, a more aggressive 3-3, and I do think that is where Order have maybe found themselves reeling a little bit, so maybe the answer is get more aggressive. It's hard to say specifically, unless you're AVRL. Nah, it's all right. Kings Row.
Now, what I do think is for Order is a decent amount of, decent wake-up call for them as well to say, okay, in this matchup, it's definitely not going to be easy for us. This is an opponent that we do need to respect. And I think they do respect them quietly internally. On the outside, they do like to do the smack talk as well.
For sure.
Now it's about really putting those words down onto paper and getting those results too.
O2 Blast, like we said, they don't really have to do anything here except play good Overwatch. Something they have no trouble with usually, but good wrap around. Myeonbong getting a bit low there is going to be okay for the time being, but Order starting to make a bit of ground.
You can see already the pressure on the high ground, which is really nice for O2 Blast, getting that off angle for the D.Va player, and Krong is able to get the extra ones in there, and the side of Order still just trying to make their way onto the point, losing a lot of HP.
It almost feels like Order are juggling aggro against a raid boss right now. Like, someone gets slow, they have to take the heat off them, heal them up a little bit. And, I mean, they are making a bit of ground, but it feels like it's only a matter of time before someone ends up dropping, and will the rest of the raiding party start to crumble from there?
And the dropping happens on multiple levels.
There it goes.
What's down 2?
Now Jordation, Yuki in trouble. He's going to go down. Unter stunned up, probably not going to make it home alive. Adam's going to be the only one to escape with the loot.
And Order's looking at this push thinking, okay, how do we want to approach this point? Because we tried the head-on approach through the side of the statue, not really working the way we want to. Let's go upstairs instead. As they're rotating, look at Mandu's positioning on the Lucio. He bumps side off to the low ground, instantly gets collected by the rest of the O2 Blast side, who then just get the rest of the kills. And again on rotation, taking a lot of damage.
Speaking of rotation as well, ultimates coming up all across the board for O2 Blast, who are honestly out to such a devastating lead right now. It's going to be a real tough ask for Order to start turning this around, and early for the positioning.
Kaiser did get scarily low there, but Order couldn't quite walk in to collect that kill, and looking at proper again. Span's been doing most of the damage. Graviton Surge going to be absolutely key.
It's going to be an early Transcendence from Jordation. They're going to try and get aggressive, but there's so many ultimates here from O2 Blast. They waited out, throw in the self-destruct on top of the Transcendence, and I mean, people are already dead by the time the self-destruct goes off. So there you have it. O2 Blast just comfortable cycling through the ultimates that they've charged up.
And look, if you're not familiar with Overwatch, one of the key signs that a team is unfortunately kind of struggling here is if you haven't even really started this fight yet, you've already used the Transcendence just to counteract the damage you've taken, and there's not even a Graviton Surge out in play. You've counted nothing with us. That's the sad part, because for Order, they've had to blow resources, and nothing there, guys, and nearly got one.
Super quick from Quads to get that shield in the way, and this does give Order an opening with this grab out. They found Mandu, self-destruct laid up as well. Big bump! Adam finds two, and that just blew the doors off O2 Blast. They were trying to get one of the Kaiser Classics there, but it's going to be Order playing to the beat of their drum.
Oldest trick in the book, and unfortunately it does not work out for O2 Blast. You want to hide or right around the corner. Order are going to probably check that one. There's no way they let that through. If it does land from Kaiser, that's another Eye of the Kaiser moment. That's another team wipe. But unfortunately, Order, a little bit too clever. They see it coming through. They're able to counteract it. They're able to push in, finally get a bunch of kills. Adam turning up big time. The 3K on the self-destruct as well, and Order finally on the board with the point.
Also finally on the board with ultimates as well. That's really helped even up the score in terms of who's got what coming up available. Both teams sitting on one right now with another close behind. So this could be Order at least running even in the macro game for now.
And Order running low on the ult charge for the support, so you need to see Jordan with the Transcendence again. Because Proper's about to hit that Graviton Surge. You see O2 Blast, they are backing up, but they are waiting for ultimates. They're just seeing, okay, you've used Rally, we know you're pushing in, gonna give you a bit of space, but when we come back in, it's grab time.
Signed also really needs to get that charge up as well on the damage side of things. Has got pretty close by now, I imagine, so Proper well ahead in terms of ultimate charge. There's that grab very early, Transcendence thrown into answer. That's unfortunately Sign getting picked, and they did it to commit themselves to Sound Barrier, especially to keep Prong in the fight. Shatter out from Quads. They're looking to try and keep something going in this fight, but they don't have any good way to follow up. It's a 1-for-1 for Reinhardt's, but that's still an unfavorable trade for Order, who had previously lost Sign, now losing Adam's mech, and undoubtedly going to lose a few more on the retreat here.
You need to see Sign stay safe here. Look at the way the Zaryas are being played. Proper gets super low as he props down that his own Graviton Surge, actually survives. Personal bubble keeps him there. HP bar is still maxed out after the healing, and for Order, unfortunately, they get caught in that grab. Sign is implicated, the first one down. We talk about him trying to catch up in terms of ult charge. He's not going to do that if he's constantly picked out.
If anything, he's at risk of getting lapped here. He's around at 90%, and Proper only about 30-ish% behind, even less than that, so could be 2 grabs available for this next fight, and Order really need to get a lot of mileage out of theirs.
And look at the angle they're working with as well. Proper's got a really nice one nearly on the second grab.
Undertaking some heat, but it's actually Yuki who's going to be the first casualty. Under had to commit the Sound Barrier to keep the team in the fight. They find Kaiser, that's big. Shatter out as well, means no follow-up on the grab. If they can find Pelican as well. Oh, nice bubble from Proper to keep Pelican up. That keeps O2 Blast well in this fight for the time being. Self-destruct out from Prong is a little bit of a wild one in the wrong direction. The kill's still coming through for both teams here. It's trades, but trades mean the cart doesn't move.
And unfortunately, Order are going to be falling back onto this one. Oh, nearly losing Quads on the way, and for Order, still, that was a close fight. They nearly won that one, but they're kind of just getting stuck around this specific corner that O2 Blast are holding onto so nicely, and they can still use the high ground off angles and in a 3-3 Goat's Mirror. That's a big deal. Any extra members that can get an extra damage around the shield, that's what's going to win you fights.
Order not really a lot to work with here. Coming up on some ultimates soon, but so are O2 Blast. I dare say O2 Blast looking a bit more threatening in what they can bring to bear. Grab out, Proper again, just so huge on charging those ultimates. No kills coming out from it though, because Jordation did have himself the Transcendence. Now Shatter from Quads, that's good. Can they follow it up?
Oh,
though? None of Kaiser has anything to say about it. And the self-destruct out there does not really get any work done from Adam, who is immediately demexed right after as well. So again, Order, they come up for another round. They throw the ultimates in and they get sent packing. This is a late grab from Sign because they need to get some kills. It's less than 20 seconds to go, but it's Quats going down. Order not looking hot here.
That's a second, maybe even third time this series we're starting to think, okay, they're running into these areas where throwing into ults, maybe when they've already lost and 5 seconds remaining, they have to actually touch the card.
I don't even know if they can at this rate. Get at the barrel forward towards it is Unter, who's already used the Sound Barrier. Adam gets there, instantly demagged. Grab out to stop anyone getting Unter, or getting to Unter, who is alone on that cart right now. And they can just kill him last. They can take out the rest of the team beforehand. Bit of a lonely position to be in, but that is a very solid hold in the middle of the streets for O2 Blast.
And we said, look, Kaiser had a quiet game, a quiet round on the opening of Lee Jung on Gardens. Just look, I mentioned, this is just a king that's kind of sleeping right now. He gets up and says, fine, I'll do it myself. And you get the King's Row, and suddenly the guy is just slapping face. Order is not able to get past this man. If you do, Proper is just back there. He's absolutely farming members. His ult charge is extremely good, stays alive, super high energy. And Order look like they're kind of struggling in terms of just keeping it together. Right towards the end there, you're starting to see them slip away again. Okay, we're getting desperate here. We're throwing ultimates into maybe fights we shouldn't do. Maybe if you're a team that kind of goes 50-50 versus O2 Blast, you do that, maybe you can still win. But I would say it's kind of looking like O2 Blast are looking better and better in the series, and Order, if they keep making these kind of mistakes, are going to look worse and worse.
Let's also not forget that that line makes absolutely no sense in the context of Age of Ultron. Like, what's he going to do himself, actually? Like, he didn't make Ultron. I don't get it. But anyway, in the context of Overwatch, yeah, Order, they have to step it up here. I don't know. They lost in Infinity War. Now they need to win an endgame. I don't know. That's more like the losers bracket. That's actually what that is. Endgame is just the losers bracket of movies.
I do want to see on the rest of Kings Row, much like we saw in the Talon matchup, that if you are the kind of underdog team here, or you're the team kind of on the losing side, to really be able to turn things around in this second part of this map, because if things go the way they are right now, this is going to be a 3-0. This is going to be a clean sweep coming from O2 Blast, potentially even cleaner than what we saw from T1W versus Talon, and that was very competitive because there was still a lot of back and forth from that. The only back and forth we saw was right at the beginning of Lee Jung, and since then, it's been only O2.
And I think it is fair to say that O2 have really leveled up between the Contenders finals and today, and that's what Order are having to come up against here. So now, coming out the gates on their own offense, O2 Blast, they don't have to get that cart all that far. Order have a lot to do.
Oh, look at this. You need to be able to see what the approach from Order is, because Bots has already been pushed forwards, and like you mentioned, got low.
Yuki's down as well, and honestly, that's probably just enough to make the floodgates open. The rest of the team starts trying to retreat, but Quat's still too far forward. Adam as well, gonna get demagged, and Order just struggling under the weight, under the pressure of O2 Blast's 3-3.
And it's a very measured, slow walk forward. It's kind of like, you know, O2 Blast in the sky. They're just whirlwinding their arms to say, if you get hit by this, it's your fault. And a lot of Order members getting hit by that. Unfortunately, they're going in. Order's not really able to trade damage effectively. You see Quad's getting bumped in. Okay, trade some aggro maybe. Quad goes backwards. Yuki's now in the firing line. He gets taken down because he's only a support player, not a Ryan player. And unfortunately, that just means 6v5, 6v4. Order losing too many members, losing the point.
Kai's also taking the time to emote there, I think well earned. Order do have plenty of opportunity to get set up for this defense, but they are well and truly on the back foot here. They have a lot of ground to make up, both in terms of ultimates and in terms of stopping the cart.
It's actually in the neutral that I'm most concerned about Order right now. They don't even have ultimates, which is even worse than the neutral position. That means O2 Blast is just going to walk forward.
They nearly got some members out, but Myeonbong has the Transcendence. Jordation had to use his as well. Quats has a Shatter, Kaiser as well. Quats out first, does get some members on their backs, blocking Kaiser's Shatter. That's what Order really need to maybe have a shot, but still Yuki the first casualty. So for all that good work done, Order don't have the kills to show for it. Self-destruct and grab comboed up, don't get any kills out of the self-destruct, but in the grab, they will start to clean up a few. Mandu, the last man left. Gong will ring out sweet victory there for Order, who are looking like they're here to play.
And that's a team kill. Order finally awake in the series, and in this matchup in particular, I mean, we talk about the fact that they've been losing kind of the neutral game here, but in the ult game, slowly catching up. Kaiser misses a Shatter, Quats lands a Shatter. Still doesn't look great for Order to start with, but off the back of that, they're able to get such efficient trades. They win that fight, but can they win more? They're going to win a lot in a row to actually take the map.
Also, the shoe is on the other foot, or maybe the crown is on the other head. Quats is now the one outpacing Kaiser for ults, and there it is, throws it out early. Myeonbong already down, Pelican soon to follow with the supports down. The tanks have no one to help them and keep them alive, and this could be a second Gong if they can find Krong. Dr. Seuss up in here. He may get back to base.
4 minutes still to go. Order on the back foot. Let's remind ourselves, look at where that cart positioning is in terms of getting to the end point. Not too far off. O2 Blast need to win one fight, then they will secure Kings Row. Order have a lot of work to do. They've won 2 fights in a row. They got to win another 3 or 4 fights in a row. They got to keep this momentum forward.
Certainly not going to be a cakewalk though for O2 Blast. So Order just trying to keep the pressure on. They want to keep O2 Blast on the back foot if they can so help it, though I dare say it's Order on the back foot for this fight. Alley out from Pelican as O2 Blast looking to square up for the next round. Kaiser moves forward with a Shatter and gets good mileage. Sound Barrier keeps them in the mix, but they're not on the cart. And that's what counts when all is said and done. O2. It's not going to be a cakewalk, but it is going to be a stroll.
And what you do see there, again, Order just kind of walk up. They're saying, again, if you want to walk into my hands, you're catching them, and that's exactly what's kind of happening in this matchup. Order backing out. They're saying, oh, we kind of maybe weaken this matchup. We're not doing Our opening damage, once again, probably not quite there just yet, and as they're backing out, the card is moving again. They don't have time to go. And for a team like Order, knowing that they're in that kind of situation, they should be the ones constantly be pushing forward, because at any point when they start to give up positioning, they're at risk of this kind of situation actually happening.
And that's part of what O2 Blast's more offensive 3-3 can do, right? It can force the enemy team back, give you a bit more space. Honestly, sometimes a 3-3 mirror can just be a game of inches. If you get 5 more meters on the cart because the other team had to take a step back, that 5 meters could be the difference. You multiply that over every single fight. It's no wonder O2 Blast are such a dangerous team to play the GOATS mirror against.
And the good news is, it seems like Order is still trying to make this competitive, but they got one more shot left. Potentially it's 2-0 to O2. We'll see what happens right after this break.